Topic for today is box and whiskers plots. There we go, we got the S on the end there. Box and whiskers plots are just another way to display information, pointing out certain parts of the information. We've talked about different things like stem and leaf plots before, scatter plots, bar graphs, line graphs. It's kind of in that general family of a type of graph, but it's going to show you some different things. If you notice on here, I've got a number line by scale at the bottom. I just chose to go by fives for the numbers that I have. You'll always need some kind of a scale to go by for these. If you see in red here, I've labeled the different parts of this box and whiskers plot, and we're going to go over those different parts. 3 of them will be familiar to you and will be pretty easy. 2 of them we're going to cover later on in this box and whiskers plot unit. You just need to know for this first part where all the parts go and what this box and whiskers plot is actually telling you. So for starters, this box and whiskers plot represents the number of stops that Obama and Mitt Romney made in Iowa from this date to this date. If you notice, we've only got 5 numbers labeled on this. We've got the 2 ends of this box and whiskers plot, these 2 lines. We've got this middle line, and we've got the outside of the boxes. That's only 5 numbers. But this graph represents a lot more than 5 numbers. It represents any time that Obama and Romney stopped in Iowa from here to here. So that could be like, 40 different stops this could represent. But we're just summing up those 40 data points or those 40 numbers into 5 specific categories. And I'll tell you what the categories are. The very end of your box and whiskers plot, all the way to the left, wherever that would be, is the minimum number. Meaning that in a month, Romney or Obama, the least amount of times they stopped was 7 times. So maybe that was like December of 2011. 7 was the smallest amount that combined they actually stopped. This should be familiar over here. The maximum number, which is just the biggest number. That means one of the months here, they actually stopped 27 times. This should also be familiar. This middle line, that's the median. That means that if we had all the months that they stopped and listed all the times they stopped in order, 17 would be the middle number of those sets of numbers. Now the 2 that you might not know, well you probably won't know, are the ends of the boxes. This one is called the lower quartile. And this one is called the upper quartile. We will cover these in a later section, but basically what they are is they are the middle of all the numbers below the median and the middle of all the numbers above the median. So the lower quartile here is the middle of the numbers between the median and the smallest number. The upper quartile is the middle number between the median and the highest number. The other thing you have to know about box and whiskers plots is they are set using specific percentages. So between the minimum and the lower quartile, this represents 25% of our numbers. Like if I had the whole list of numbers right here of all the months and how many times they stopped, 25% of the numbers would be between 7 and 12. Between the lower quartile and the median is also 25% of the numbers. So that means that 25% of the numbers are from 12 to 17. From the median to the upper quartile, 25% of the information is from the median to the upper quartile. And then finally, 25% of the information is from the upper quartile to the maximum or the highest number. If you take a look at this graph, it's pretty evenly distributed, meaning that 25% is from here to here, 25 from here to here, 25 from here to here, and 25% from here to here. You'll see as we get into the other couple of graphs here, This is just telling you that it's pretty even from 7 up to 27. When we see the other ones, you'll see them skewed either in one direction or the other. The other thing I'll say for this graph, if you just have this chart here, there are certain things that you won't be able to find out. Now, if we had the entire list of numbers of all these stops, we would be able to figure out all these things. But for instance, if we were to try to find the mean and all we had was this, we couldn't do it because we don't have all the individual months and all the numbers, so we can add them up and divide how many months there were. We can't do this with a box and whiskers plot. The median we can do because it actually gives you the median. The middle line in the box is the median, so we can find the median out of this. The mode we can't find. We don't have all the numbers. If we had the entire list of numbers, we would be able to figure out which one happens the most. So that's out. The range, we actually can find the range. Because if you think about what the range is, it's the distance between the highest number and the lowest number. The highest number is 27, the lowest number is 7. So the range is actually going to be 27 minus 7, which is 20. The median was just that line right there, which was 17. So if you have these box and whiskers plots, you can't find the mean, you can't find the mode unless you actually have all the numbers, the actual numbers from this. But you can find the median because it's listed. You can find the range because we know the highest number and we know the lowest number. Here's another box and whiskers plot. Again, I just chose to use a scale of going by fives here. My numbers were 6, 20, 22, 24, 27. So going by fives made it, nice and even here. And this is the number of days snowplows were used in Grundy County from 2005 to 2011. So basically, what we're saying is that there is a number of times snowplows were used in 2005. There was a number of days snowplows were used in 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, and 2011. That means this graph represents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. We don't have the 7 numbers to start with, we just have the graph. But this represents 7 different numbers because there's 7 years from 2005 to 2011. So if we take a look at this graph, the first thing I want to do is label the parts so you understand what they are. That was the minimum. That was the maximum. Then we have our box in the middle. The middle of the box is the median. The bottom of the box is the lower quartile, and the top of the box is the upper quartile. And remember, those quartiles are just like the middle of the lower numbers and then the middle of the upper numbers. The percentages are still the same. Still 25% from here to here. So that looks a little different than it did on the other one, and we'll talk about why in a second. 25% for this spot, 25% for this spot, and 25% for this spot. So when I take a look at this graph, the thing you should notice is that 75% of my numbers are from 20 to 27. 75% of my numbers are from 20 to 27. So that means that between these years, we had to use a lot of snowplows. It snowed a lot in these years right here, where only 25% of the numbers are actually under 20, or from 20 all the way down to 6. So if you see a graph that's way skewed to the right, like this one is, that means that a lot of days were used for the snowplows. In fact, 75% if you just do 25, 25, and 25. Now, if we go to our mean, median, mode, and range questions, again, the same thing. We can't find the mean. We don't know what the numbers were for each individual year. If we did, we could add them up and divide by how many numbers there are. That would be fine. We don't know that. The median. We can find that because it says right here, it's the middle line in our graph. That's 22. Let's see, the mode. We cannot find the mode because we don't know what all these numbers are. If we knew what they were, we could find the mode. The range we can definitely do. The range is just the highest number minus the lowest number. Highest number is 27, lowest number is 6. 27 minus 6, that's going to be 21. So that would be our range, that's our median. The other two we can't find unless we actually have the numbers.